Hello, Shell. Can you hear me? Hey, Melanie. I hope you're having a great day too. So I'll just wait to make sure that you can hear me. Hi, Desiree. Hey, Wilby. Hi, Sugar. Shell. It's the little things you have to be proud of me for. Like microscopic things that other people don't even think about. Those are the things you need to be proud of me for. Because a day that I come on and my mic isn't muted is a good day. It just is. Hey, Evelyn. I'm not too complicated. I accept pride for the little things. How is everyone today? Yeah, and that is so appreciated, Shell. You know, for other people, it's not a big deal. But when you notice that I am behaving competently, it means a lot to me. I haven't been up that long either, but I can't sleep, and I haven't had much sleep, and I didn't sleep at all last night. Um, but I like had a moment of where I remembered what I was trying to say yesterday, and I figured while it's on my mind, I should probably share it. It's another one of those things that if I don't do it in the moment and if it's not appreciated in the moment, it's just not going to happen. Hey, Sky. Hi, Cat's Roll. So you guys remember yesterday, for those who were here or those who listened on the replay, you remember where I was talking about, hurt people hurt people. And if you can understand that hurt people, then you no longer can use it as an excuse of why you've been hurting people or as a justification, right? So I got thinking back on this presentation I had given. Oh gosh, it's a presentation I used to give. Let me think. Back in about 2005 to 2008, maybe. This was one of the presentations I used to give, and I was trying to get it in order in my head yesterday, but my head just was not cooperating. My head was like, girl, you know what you're trying to say, but you're not going to let anyone else know what you're trying to say because we just aren't doing that today. So there was this presentation I used to give about competence, okay? And to me, it was a wonderful presentation because it put so many things in perspective. Hey, Carla, it's good to see you. A box of raw sugar in front of me. I love it. You got to live in the moment there. So I'm going to share this graphic on the screen, and we're going to go through it, and it will explain exactly what I was trying to say yesterday, because I felt like I was talking in circles. I couldn't quite grasp the tail end of my point, if that makes any sense. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't make sense, but I felt like I was just chasing my point around the room, and I was never able to catch the tail end of it. So I'm going to share this graphic, and then I'm going to walk you through it. And this is exactly what I was trying to say yesterday. Let me find it here. Okay. So now what you're going to see up on the screen here, and pardon me if I don't see the chat for a few minutes, because I'm going to talk you through this. And when I'm doing that, if I get distracted, you know how it is. We may end up in Montana, which is not a bad thing. Montana is a great place, but Montana is not where my point is. So while I'm leading the car, if I miss anyone, please say hello to me or hello to them from me, and I will get back to the chat in just a bit. All right, so when someone says, or okay, say someone who has been treated very poorly in their life treats other people poorly. This is the first step. They don't realize that they're treating people poorly because they've been treated poorly. Okay, they don't know what they don't know. This is about competence, but I'm going to put it in a slightly different perspective, in that when you know better, you do better. So unconscious incompetence is when you don't understand why you do the things you do. You do them, and you make no connection to other parts of your life or your experiences. So if you are unconsciously incompetent, you would be one of those people who runs around hurting other people, but never making the connection that you're treating other people poorly based on the fact that you were treated poorly. This means that it's not your fault at this point. The connection has not been made, and so you cannot be held responsible for your actions when you haven't made a connection. You are unconsciously incompetent at that point. Now, when we get to the point that we can say and agree with the statement that hurt people, we move up to the second level of competence here, where we are consciously incompetent. We know that we are hurting people because we have been hurt. We know that we are lashing out at other people, whether it's physically or verbally or psychologically, because we ourselves have been functioning or been treated in that level. So this is the point where someone who was abused as a child has a child and abuses that child and realizes that they're abusing that child because they were abused and they don't know another way. To them, this could be normal until a certain point when they're like, hey, wait, could it be that I'm verbally lashing out at people because I myself have been verbally lashed out at? This is where your actions become a choice. This is very important to remember. There is only one level where doing bad things is not a choice, and that is when you don't even realize that you're doing bad things and that you're doing those bad things because those things were done to you, or because you don't notice that when you don't get enough sleep, you go into work and you bite the heads off of your fellow workers. Okay, so you're not conscious of what you're doing. When we get to step 2, we become consciously aware either through our own introspection, or maybe a therapist brings it up to you. A therapist may say, well, do we see any patterns in your behavior? Do you find that when you drink too much, you've stopped other forms of self-care? Like maybe you're no longer doing the hobbies that you like and you've become frustrated. In other words, either you through introspection or through someone else mentioning it, become aware that you are participating in bad behavior because of something going on. You become consciously, at this point, incompetent. You are conscious that when you're over hungry, you're more likely to lash out at your spouse over something small and, irrelevant. You're conscious, but still incompetent. You're conscious of your incompetence. Now is where we have a choice. So if we're conscious that hurt people, and we continue to hurt people, then you're consciously incompetent. You know better, but you're not doing better. So this leads most people, we would hope that most people then would move on to step 3, where they say, listen, This bad behavior from me is unacceptable. I now know that this behavior is bad and that I participate in this behavior because of these reasons, this, and this. Whether it's because you were treated that way, or whether it's because you get overwhelmed, or whether it's because you haven't had enough sleep, or whatever, and there's a decision to be made. This is where we become consciously competent. We know that we are doing the right thing, okay? We have to think about it. Every time you get ready to lash out at someone else because they hurt your feelings, okay, say someone says to you, you look like you've gained weight, and your first instinct, because that hurts you, is to say, well, you're an asshole, okay? Which is going to, meant to hurt them just as much as they just hurt you. When you say, that's no longer acceptable. I am not going to lash out because I am hurt. I am going to take control of my bad behavior, but I have to make a conscious effort to do it. I have to fight off what has been my normal all this time. Okay? You become consciously competent. It's work. Number one, you have no idea what's going on. Number two, you realize what's going on. Number three, you start putting your choices into play. You start consciously making better choices about your behavior. Okay, it's work. And that's the hard part, because a lot of people find that when work becomes involved, it's easier just to go with instinct, go with the tried and true, what makes you feel better in the moment, which is lashing out at someone. Hurt people, right? But now we're going to try something different. So that moves us on. If you can get through step 3, and if you can realize that with hard work, what happens? Number 4 happens. You become unconsciously competent. Okay? All the work you've put in forms habit. It forms skills, coping skills. It forms self-care skills. It forms thought before action. The bad behavior goes away, and automatically it's replaced by a much better behavior. And it happens now unconsciously. This is where we could say that no longer is it acceptable when someone says to you, hurt people, hurt people. You're going to fight that idea, as I've been trying to do, because it's no longer acceptable to just let people get away with that, okay? We already know that hurt people, but it depends at what level they're at. If you can agree with the statement that hurt people, you are now at least consciously incompetent and choosing to continue to hurt people, okay? If you don't agree with the statement that hurt people, you're at level 1. You don't even know that you're hurting people because you're exactly, Shell. You're using hurt people as an excuse. Once you accept the statement that hurt people, it now has become a choice and an excuse for bad behavior. Of course, the goal should always be in our lives to reach competence level 4 with anything, whether it's addiction, whether it's relationships, whether it's employment, whether, regardless of what it is, the goal is always to reach unconscious competence. It doesn't always happen. For some of us, we're stuck at number 3, and we're always going to have to work at being competent in whatever aspect we're looking at. For a lot of people who have struggled with addiction, being consciously competent in their addiction sometimes is absolutely good enough. They're always going to work at it. And sometimes they're going to slip. And if you slip and you go back to use, you're back at level 2. You never get back to level 1. You're always going to know what you know. You know that your addiction is a crutch for some kind of thing that's going on. You're always going to be consciously incompetent, even if you're, see, now I'm getting myself lost again. Anyway, the point is that you can put this chart to work in every aspect of your life. Okay? Say something as innocuous as you want to eat better. Okay? If you don't know about good nutrition, you can't be held responsible for it, right? But as soon as you take the time to educate yourself or to seek counseling on what good nutrition entails, you become consciously incompetent. Now you know what good nutrition looks like, but you're just not doing it. You know, but you're not doing it. When you become consciously competent about nutrition, you would know that you have to change things, and you would be putting in the extra effort to eat more nutritious foods. When you automatically start reaching for a salad instead of a thing of ice cream, and you don't even have to think about it, you just go to the salad, you've reached level 4 in your nutrition. And you can always backslide in these. We all do. We're all human. Whether it's hurt people, and one day you just have had enough and you hurt someone back because they hurt you. We can backslide. Whether one day you eat that salad without even thinking twice about dessert, and the next day you stuff your face with a whole half of a German chocolate cake. We can backslide, but we can never go back to step 1. Once you know, that's it. And so I try and apply this in several different areas of my life, and understand that once you know better, if you don't do better, then you're making a choice. Once you know better, you should do better. And if you don't, there's no one to blame but yourself. Jeff B., you heard me talking about German chocolate cake. So good. I love German chocolate cake. So, does that make sense to everyone? I'm not sure if you guys have even been really paying attention to me, and that's okay if you haven't. I don't blame you. I try and ignore myself a lot because, I'll yammer on and on and on. Oh, mine too, Cats Roll. Anytime someone asks me what kind of cake I want for my birthday, I have 2 answers. German chocolate cake, and if I can't have German chocolate cake for some reason, because my birthday happens to be right around fall time, German chocolate isn't out, but a lot of the spice cakes are. And so if I can't get a German chocolate cake, I want a carrot cake with cream cheese frosting. Those are the only 2 acceptable cakes for my birthday. Everyone remember that. It makes perfect sense and good. I'm glad, because yesterday I was trying to put this into words and my brain just was not playing with me. It was like, nah, girl, just ramble. We'll let you just ramble for a while because we don't feel like working today. Oh, I love carrot cake, Glamma. Love, love, love it. So anyone who's come in and I did not say hello to you. Hi, Glamma. I don't know if I missed anyone else. Well, Sugar, you know what? You don't, like you said, you don't want to mention. You don't have to share how this hits home for you. But the fact that you did share that it is hitting home for you, I appreciate that. That's why I bring these things up. Because I think that there is a wide array of methods that we could put these things to use in our lives to make our lives better. Hello, Fartsy. How are you doing? Rambling is good. I don't know. Like I said, if you give me the keys and just let me go, we don't know where we're going to end up. So that's all I wanted to do today. I just wanted to come on here and try and put what I was trying to say yesterday into a clearer and more concise manner. And it reminded me, like I said, of this thing I can't even think of the words I want now. What did I say earlier? This was see, my brain is done. My brain has stayed on topic for far too long. 20 minutes on topic, and my brain has said, no, we're not doing this anymore. I can't even think of the words. What was I saying this was? Cats, I know you know. This was a blank I used to give, and I can't think of the word. I can't think of it. Oh well. You guys know. This was a I can't, nope, word's not there. Yeah, kind of a lecture, but a different word for it, a more cuddly word than lecture. More cuddly than lecture. Like more like I'd invite you in with a cup of coffee, and if it was a little cold, we would have little lap blankets and some cookies over on the table. An analogy. No, a presentation. This was a presentation. You guys already forgot the word too. Right, sugar, exactly. Thank you, crow friend. Thank you. Someone was listening at least. You guys didn't know there was going to be a pop quiz, did you? Or a fill in the blank type quiz. What was the word I used? Hey, Drama Archives. You didn't sign up for presentations. Oh my goodness. So does anyone besides Sugar and the Raw feel like you could apply this in your life anywhere right now? You don't have to share why, but has anyone else realized that that this is something you can apply in all kinds of different areas of your life, or your, whether it's your job, your relationship, some kind of addiction, or physical health, or psychological health, or child rearing? You didn't study before the test. Yeah, Shell signed you up. Don't worry, cats. Shell will always sign you up. She's a good friend like that. See, I think that too, Shell. I really do. Especially when someone's trying to take the easy way out by claiming that, this is why I do this. Well, if you know this is why you do this, then you can't act like you don't have a choice in the matter. You do. You never go back to step one. You are only step one so long as you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it. Anything above step one, we become responsible for our own behaviors. And we just have to admit we haven't gotten control over those behaviors yet. Hey, Deb. Yeah, see, I lure you in with cake, and then you end up learning something. It's a really terrible way, but I've got to do what I've got to do. Hey, Lucy. Well, I hope you will look from the beginning. I think that when you can simplify your life down into steps like this, and especially when you're finding problems in your life or a problematic area, when we can apply steps that we can see clear cut, and I mean, it takes out any emotion, it takes out any, feelings of shame. It's just black and white right in front of you. This is how it is. This is the logic of solving problems. And if you continue to accept bad behavior or continue to partake in bad behavior, Here's what you need to know about it. Whether that behavior has to do with your health, physical, your health, psychological, your relationships, your employment, whatever, your financial situation. Like if you don't know anything about the stock market, okay, you're step one. You may choose to remain at step one. Personally, I do. I don't understand the stock market, and so I am going to remain unconsciously incompetent when it comes to investing in the stock market. And at each level, you have to decide that kind of decision. Is this something that's worth it or not? And am I willing to deal with the rewards or the consequences? Oh, Cat's Rule, I still have that too. It is going back up. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. That's what I've been hearing, but I just don't understand all that at all. Fartsy, you are bad behavior? Oh my goodness. I do too, Sugar. It does. Helping others through talking about what you're going through or what you've been through is healing for yourself. It really is. This was part of another presentation I used to give when I say that, helping others is a means of helping yourself. I had a whole thing done up on learning motivation and learning theories. But let me just try and kind of get to the nitty gritty of what my point is here, is that when you learn something, you generally learn by seeing it done, watching it done either on a video or a TV show or a YouTube channel, or you read about it in a book, or you see the pictures of it. Think of it kind of like IKEA furniture. You can say after you've read the IKEA manual for whatever it is, that you know how to put it together. The thing is, that's not really learning. That is regurgitation. You can say what the steps are, but you still haven't learned anything. You've memorized or you've understood something, but you haven't really learned. Now, once you get all the pieces out of the IKEA furniture that you're going to put together, and you understand the directions, and you actually put it together, you can say that you've accomplished the goal of learning how to do it. But the next step, and this is the most important step in learning anything, is teaching someone else. The ultimate mastering of any kind of skill or subject is when you can teach it to someone else and they can comprehend it and they learn something. So if you're ever given the opportunity to learn something, like say crochet, for example, if you learn how to crochet from a book, you can read the book and you can understand the directions. So you can say, I know how to do it. You haven't learned how to do it yet, but you know how to do it because you can say how to do it. Then when you do it, you're a little bit closer to mastering it. But when you can have someone sit next to you and you can go through the steps with them and teach them, you've reached the ultimate in learning. The last step of anything you ever want to learn and do well with is teaching it to someone else. If you can teach it to someone else and they can comprehend and they can follow your lead, then you can say comfortably that you have learned something. So we should always be looking to share the things we think we know or that we're trying to get a greater understanding for with other people, because that actually is the highest level of learning you can achieve, is being able to teach it and share it with someone else. Jeff, you're silly. Yeah, IKEA always gives you extra parts because they don't want you to think you really know how to do this. They'd rather you pay the extra $300 to have them put it together for you. Okay, guys, well, I've been here for 30 minutes. 20 minutes of that I did stay on topic. So my brain's a little worn out now. I am going to shut this down, but I appreciate you coming in and listening, and I really do hope that it helps you in some way, that in some way you can apply this in your life. And if you do apply it in your life and it works out really great, share it with me. I'd love to hear people kind of putting things that I talk about in here into practice in their lives and how that's going for them. That would be really nice. So if anything ever clicks with what I've said, and all of a sudden one day in your life you're like, oh my gosh, I just used what Jeannie was talking about, let me know. I'd appreciate it. It makes me feel useful. And everyone likes to feel useful, right? All right, guys. Thank you. And have a good day. I love you. Mwah.